Number 14 in the major arcana is Temperance, and it is related to number 13, the devil. So you have the devil and the angel coming side by side in the major arcana. And yes, some of this is referring to the biblical temperance, but that virtue has been valued for centuries, far before Christianity reared its head. So in this, we're talking about a more complicated balance. Rather than the devil talking about addiction and obsession, this one is talking about both self-care and the care for your community, the bigger picture. Notice that she is practicing an alchemy of combining, basically in some decks it's fire and water, but in this one she's pouring water from one cup to the next. She also has 1 foot on land and 1 foot in the water, and that is very indicative of the symbol of balance. Now, a more modern take, the fit for this one, of course, is the Universal Tarot by Lo Scarabo. But I really like the Everyday Witch's take on this. This one's by Deborah Blake. And you'll notice here that the person has struck a yoga pose. So she is very concerned with her own inner balance. And a very important thing to consider about the Temperance card is what creates balance for you today may not be the same for tomorrow. In other words, it's living present in the moment, very much in the moment, and taking into consideration every factor, and then taking action. And as you take actions, the factors change and you're reassessing again in the moment. In this, instead of 1 foot on land and 1 in the water, she has 1 eye closed and 1 opened. It's really some very interesting symbolism in this card, and it really gives the essence of temperance. So it's a really nice card. The only drawback to this particular deck is, you know how I'm obsessed about not being able to tell if the card is upright or reversed before you pull it. And I love, love, love the design on the back of this. It even matches the pajamas I'm wearing, the official uniform of authors everywhere. But obviously you can't tell if it's upright or reversed before you draw it. So the Temperance card is when it comes up in a relationship situation, when it's right side up. I've noticed over the last 40 years of doing readings for many, many tens of thousands of people, usually this is a good match. It's an indication of a good match, somebody who's willing to take in all of the information, to consider both sides of a situation, good compromise. It's also a good indicator if your signs aren't compatible, or your basic everyday values, or even your spiritual path are not as compatible as maybe you'd like, because this shows that even though you both come from different worlds, water and land, you can still be harmonious and mix together really well when it comes up reversed. This is probably not a great indication for a relationship, but it is also, when we're talking about other things, it shows that you're not taking things in moderation. Maybe you've leaned too heavy into self-care and you're not looking at the relationships of the people around you, or your civic responsibilities, that kind of thing. Or the people around you, especially if you're reading for another person, if you've got a client who's asking about another person and their compatibility, this is probably someone who's very adamant in their beliefs, not very flexible, possibly lives far in the future or far in the past, reminisces a lot. But when this comes up in your reading, whether upright or reversed, it's a good time to take a step back, do some consideration, and then do some action.